Today, I have a sweet case study for you. I'll be showing you details of one of our apps called the Shadow Work Journal. When I started in the app business about 10 years ago, and I would watch videos like this, I was very frustrated because people talk about their strategies and the theories. Nobody would show the actual metrics and numbers that really matter. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to give you a peek behind the curtain and show you all of the numbers. So I'll give you a complete walkthrough, all of the important stats in the app inside that you can't find publicly or anywhere else. I'll give you a walkthrough through the app and explain how we built this app in 1 week, about a year ago, and we haven't touched the app since then. I'll show you the keywords that we rank for, how we became number one, how we rank in the top 3 consistently for the important keywords without any marketing or any ad spend. And of course, I'll show you the secret sauce, how we got to rank so high, and how come our conversion rate on the paywall is so freaking high compared to everybody else in the industry. Today, I'm sharing with you one case study for the Shadow Work Journal, and I'll show you everything. But I have many apps, and inside my community, school.com/appsuccess, which is a paid community, my inner circle for the people who are serious about building and scaling their app business, I share all the case studies for all of the apps. We have a great forum where we talk about how to grow our apps. I have a classroom where I'm dropping all of my courses for no extra charge, so you can go through them. And we do a live call every single week where I review top trending keywords and I give feedback on people's apps. If you're serious about scaling your app business, this is the community for you. I personally reply to every single message and I'm active every day. All right, let's start with the juicy stuff, the revenue, costs, and the profit. So we started this app a little bit over a year ago. In February, March 2024, our first revenue came in March. As you can see right away, we made $657. It's been doing around a little bit under $1,000 a month since then. No ads, no marketing, no updates to the app. We built and launched the app in about a week. I'll show you how in a second. And now it's been scaling up thanks to all of the ASO work and the trending keywords method. And last month we did $2,300 in revenue. This dotted line means that this month is incomplete. We made $600 so far, and it's only been 1 week in July. So we're on track to do $2,400 this month. I have never built a billion-dollar unicorn app, and I'm not pretending that I know everything. But I have built a lot of apps in the last 10 years. I have not had a job for about 10 years. I travel 3 months of the year. I have no meetings, no calendar. I have no employees. I share the business with my partner, Evrim. We split the business 50-50. I do the design and marketing. He writes all the code, and all the revenue is split between us. This is one of the 14 apps that we have in the portfolio right now. So this is the revenue. Let's look at some other metrics that actually matter. Active subscriptions is the great one. So this is the number of paying active customers that we have right now. And as you can see, we got customers right away from day one. It's been going up and continue to grow. Right now we are at 258 paying customers. The beautiful thing here is that most of these are actually annual subscriptions and they will renew. So let me show you and segment. I'm going to segment by product duration. So it shows you we have most of the subscriptions are on the yearly, as you can see. Some are monthly, some are weekly because we're experimenting with the paywall, trying out some new stuff. But these are yearly. And so the annual subscriptions, you can expect that about 20 to 40% of annual subscribers will renew the next year. And so this business, as it compounds on year 2, year 3, year 4, 5, will become very, very interesting business because we don't have to do any extra effort for these customers. They just renew. So this is a subscription app, and this shows you the number of active trials that we have. There is a 7-day free trial, and then people subscribe, and it's $39.99 per year. And this is pretty normal to see. Sometimes the trials will stack up, and then they will convert, comes back down. But on average, we're around 40, more or less, active subscriptions, if you look at this chart overall. And it's been slightly going up in the last couple of months. And we've converted a lot of subscriptions in the last week. So now we're down to about 26, but this will go back up again. And this is the number of new customers, which means new installs. You might notice a huge spike in this graph. So here one day we got 4,000 installs. This is because we did a campaign called AppAdvice on AppAdvice.com. there is a section of the website called AppsGoneFree where you can promote your app. You get a lot of installs. I talk about the strategy inside the school community, and this is why we got so many installs in this one day. But let me change the time horizon so you can see what is our normal kind of installs per day. If I look at the last 12 months on daily basis, I'm going to switch it over to monthly so you can see on average we get about 800 to 400 new installs per month. Again, this is no marketing, no ads. This is all organic traffic coming to us. And this is a very important number if you're in the app business, the initial conversion number. So people download the app for free and then they can start a trial. So this is the initial conversion from install to trial. And as you can see on average, it hovers between 25 to 30% in the last year. So that's our conversion rate. And this allows us to calculate how many installs become trials and how many trials become paying customers. Our conversion from trial to paying customer is between 4 to 8%, as you can see on this graph. Now it's been going up because we've been doing some tests on the paywall, experimenting with some new options, doing a weekly and monthly subscription, not just annual. I'll walk you through the details in a second, but this is where the number has been going up. So now you know all of the major important stats that we have. And I do want to show you one thing that nobody shows publicly. And this is a paywall experiment running on our paywall right now. So on our paywall, we have two versions of the paywall. We're running an A/B test. So 50% of traffic gets one paywall, 50% of traffic gets the other paywall. Paywall 1 has only the annual option for $39.99 with a 7-day trial. Paywall 2 has the $39 option with no trial, and then a $8 a week subscription with a 3-day trial. So that's what we're trying out. As you can see, 50% of the traffic gets that. The conversion rate is a little bit better on the option number 2, but the proceeds currently are higher with the option number 1. This is the proceeds graph, and you can see the top line is for the annual option only. So that's a bit higher. And if you look at some of the other charts, estimated average revenue per user is much higher on the annual, which makes sense because there's no weekly option. It's only the annual. And the proceeds per user also are the same. The reason why I continue running this experiment is because the weekly subscriptions are going to continue converting and renewing every week. And my thesis is that in the long run, the weekly paywall is actually going to bring more revenue than the annual paywall. So I'm going to give this one more data. It's not finalized, but like I said, nobody shares the process. And this is what I wanted to share with you. Cool, so now you know all the current stats that we have in the app. Let me show you actually what the app looks like. It is super simple. So this is my design file. When you come into the app, this is the home screen. So you can see we have some affirmations, we have some visualizations. Main thing, this is a journal. So when you press the plus button, you'll be thrown into the journal and you can write your diary. So here is the journal section, some past journal entries. And then we have the affirmations and some of the meditations. All the content was created using AI, the voice, the images, everything in there is AI. We have a little journal section, and all of this is very simple. So here is what the journal looks like. This is a pretty ugly design. The actual app looks better than this, but this is just a mock-up. You open the app. There is a prompt for you to answer in the journal or your past journal entries, and then the actual journal editing tool. So the app is super simple. This took us about 1 week to design and build, about, I think, 6 days from idea to launched app on the App Store. So your apps don't have to be super complex, and there's nothing revolutionary about this app either. There's tons of journals out there. This is just one of 100 probably, but it is niched and it's based on a trending keyword method, which I'll explain what that means. This method is what guarantees is that we get profit and revenue from day one. I'm not going to walk you through the code, but it is very, very simple. You saw the design, you know what that looks like. So now let's look at the actual trending keyword method. And what do I mean by the keyword? Because this is a very important element. So some time ago, Shadow Work Journal in 2023 was not a very popular search query, but I was watching the market and I noticed that here in October 23 and then in February 24, it really went up. So I was watching the keyword. I was aware here in October, November, that was pretty high. It went down. And when it went up again, we decided, okay, it's time to build the app. We built it quickly. And here the search volume was 38, which is very big. Since then, it has gone down. But if you can remember from our revenue chart, our revenue is actually going up. So you don't need a huge search volume. Right now, the search volume is 16, which is very low. I wouldn't start a new app if it's only 16, but we already rank pretty high. So it is enough for us to sustain the business and continue growing the business. So the entire method or the reason why it works, and really honestly, this is kind of the secret sauce, which I'll explain a bit in detail later, but to give you a rough overview, if you find a keyword that's not popular in the past, which means it has no competition, and it becomes popular, you can build an app quickly, you rank, you become number one, and then when the big players come into competition, you're already number one or in the top three, and then if you continue building a good app, you will stay number three. Or if you build a good enough app at the beginning, you will stay number three or number two, number one. And this is where the beauty, this is the whole secret sauce, honestly. This is why we get all of the organic traffic and all the revenue comes from this entire idea. If you're interested, of course, I explained this in more detail in the school community, so you can check out the link, but you don't need the community, honestly. If you can't afford it, you can build the app like this, just knowing what the strategy looks like. So this has been the search volume. Now let me show you how our app actually ranks. So this is the keyword Shadow Work Journal, and our rank currently is number 5. So this dropped down in the last couple of days, but we're going to make up for it. So if we go back enough for the last year. So as you can see, we launched the app on February 3rd. We're number 84. And then immediately we became number 6, number 3, 2, and number 1. And then we hover back and forth between number 3, 5, 1. It goes back and forth. Today we're number 5. It's going to go back up to number 3 or 2. And we didn't do any ads, any marketing. The reason why we rank so high for this app, and as you can see, we did a couple of updates here. Nothing major, just some bug fixes. But since then, we have not done an update on the app. We've only changed the paywall, and our revenue keeps going up. So you don't have to actually work on the app every day. We only really spend time on new apps because we enjoy the process. And we haven't had to update the app since then. And the reason why it works so well, because the search volume was low, it went high, and we published the app when the search volume was high and there was no competition. It's super simple. Supply and demand. Every single business in the world follows the rule of supply and demand. Somehow in the App Store, we forget about it. So if you can just stick to the fundamentals, this is the result. And I already told you about the first secret sauce, which is the trending keyword method. That's what I teach in the school community. This the entire idea is that every week there are hundreds of keywords that were not popular in the past, but are popular now, which means they have no competition. So in the school community, every week we have a live call, and during the call, we do trend spotting. So I look at trending keywords every single week and I share them live. I share my screen, and then people can take the keywords and they can go ahead and build apps from them. So you can do the research on your own, or you can join the community and we do it there together. That's really the entire secret sauce, is find the keywords that has no competition. It was not popular before, it's popular now. We call that the trending keyword method. And we have our onboarding and paywall, which converts really, really well. So if you have amazing onboarding and paywall which converts well, but no volume on the keyword and no installs, it's not going to matter. It is not important at the beginning. First, you need to validate that you can get installs for free, and then you can get fancy, you can experiment and do some of these things. But I'll show you our onboarding quiz and paywall. So one of the reasons why the app is doing so well is because we have very high conversion rate. So here, when you download the app, you get this type of splash screen, you put in your name, and then we have a bunch of questions in the onboarding about your shadow work and your shadow wound. So it's a very, very simple format. It's the same screen. Of course, the questions actually change in the app. This is just the design mockup. So there's about 20 questions that people go through. And then at the end, we give them their result. So your core wound is maybe abandonment, or there's 4 core wounds. And so we give you one of the results. But of course, before we show you the result, there is a paywall. The paywall looks something like this, and the result is blurred out. And everybody wants to see the result of the quiz. So they start the free trial. So they still see it for free, but they are on the free trial, and they have to cancel the trial if they don't want to get the app. And as you saw from the numbers, a good number of people actually don't cancel the trial because they go into the app, they start journaling, they use it, and they subscribe, and they become a customer. So this is how it works. At the end of the day, our shadow work journal has been very simple. We don't spend more than maximum 2 weeks to build any app. We never spend more time. They all make some money, some make more, some make less, but they all generate some revenue because we follow the trending keyword method. So we launch at least 1 to 2 apps a month, and we don't work very hard. We just work very smart and enjoy good quality of life on the side. And I believe that everybody deserves to not have to do a 9-to-5 job if you don't want it, to have the total freedom to travel the world and do whatever you want to do. So please learn from me. It took me a decade to get to this point. I was working on the App Store for 10 years. I had some wins, but there were lucky breaks that I couldn't replicate. Now I have a method that works every single time. So please take this from me, steal this, and apply it in your own app business and scale the business for yourself. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next week.